This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio. Here along with me is Matt Allen, and together we are your KTAR car guys, heard here every Saturday from 11 to noon. At Bumper to Bumper Radio, we're helping you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. If you've got car questions, we've got car answers, so we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. You can also text your questions to 411-923. Well, today on the Bumper to Bumper Roadmap, we are going to be taking your phone calls and your text, but it's a unusual day because we're live from Virginia Auto Service, which is 7th Street in Virginia, and we're celebrating the 20-year anniversary of Virginia Auto Service. Matt's been on this corner for 20 years now. This auto repair establishment has been here a lot longer than that, but you've been at the helm for 20 years.
Yeah, Dave, you know, the shop here was started by a young man at the time who got out of the war in the 40s and came back to the property where his family lived, and he started working on cars over in the corner. And he did that all the way up until 1968 out of another small building until they built this building in 1970. So it was Dave Kyle's garage all the way from the 40s until the early 80s, where it changed hands a couple times until I took over the reins in 1994. Actually, Thanksgiving of 1994, but it took 2 months to get open. So.
Get going. You just had dumpsters, and you just hauled off garbage and more garbage and more garbage.
We had two roll-off dumpsters just to get the junk out so we could start getting it clean. You know, the building had never been painted, and you know, it was actually boarded up and out of business. And we've got a little storyboard in the office, so I hope that, like you said, if you want to call, you can certainly give us a call at 602-277-5827, but the best thing to do is just come down to the shop because
I had one of these hot dogs. I couldn't finish it. It was so big. Is that a beef Vienna?
It's like the quarter pounders at Costco. So forget the Costco. Just come over here and get. There is a free lunch today.
We hear us talking on the radio about cars, but what's really cool right now is there's I think you got about 5 cars over here, Matt, that are just taken apart. Technicians standing by if you guys have questions. It's just a way to learn something about cars, where you're not in a situation where somebody's asking to spend money on your car. It's a situation where you can just learn and ask all the questions you want, dumb questions, smart questions, any question you want. Matt's technicians are very nice. They're not scary technicians.
They don't bite very hard either, just a little bit. But we've got some vendors giving some demos. You got questions about fuel injection cleaning. How or why does that work? Well, we can show you that. The reps from BG are here. We had Lance in from Centric Brakes in the on air with us last week, and we talked a lot about brakes. If you want to come out today, we can show you about brakes. We've got stuff. We've got cars in various stages of repair that you can see. We've
also got the Phoenix Fire Department out here, and I think the last time they were here, your building was on fire.
Well, you're probably right, Dave. We did have a grand reopening 10 years ago after we had a little barbecue problem here in the shop. You're right, though. Yeah, we did have a fire, and those pictures and all that history is inside the shop here on the storyboard. But, we talk about the cars. There's stuff for people to do, but there's kid stuff, too. There's this big, giant bounce house. We've got 2 Napa race cars.
Oh, am I a little old to be on that? Because I was on that just a bit ago.
You're never too old for a bounce house.
Never.
Maybe too big because you get them to tip over or something. I've had too many hot dogs, so that thing is probably top-heavy.
You go home now.
Yeah, you go now. You've been bounce house.
Way too long. RC cars, I'm going to hit that up next. In the dunk tank, I can't wait to see Matt in there. I've been warming up my arm all morning.
Well, that's the other thing, Dave. Well, the RC cars is another little course. We just have we have hammers. I didn't know we had that many hammers in the shop. But we've got these RC cars so kids can come out here and play and ride these cars. There's giveaways. We are selling some raffle tickets. But we're going to give away a lot of stuff. You can win a bicycle. We have our loaner bicycle program, so we give people rides to and from work in the downtown and central Phoenix area, but we have loaner bikes, so a lot of people like to ride their bike to work. You can borrow the bike, and we're going to give one of those away. We have a brand new one. You get to take your choice. So there is a lot happening. So if you're out and about in downtown Central Phoenix, it's easy to get here. We're 7th Street, just south of Thomas. There's plenty of parking, plenty of room. We have lots of food, and I don't want to be eating hot dogs for the next month.
Do you think I could talk to Napa guys and let me fire up that race car?
One of them does run, but
really, I want to do a burnout right here in your parking lot.
Maybe we could rip a donut or something.
Not only that, my Honda Element is on display. I mean, it is one fabulous piece of machinery.
Do you still have the for sale sign in it, Dave?
Yes, right.
Oh, the other important thing I forgot to mention, just because it's not in my line of sight, but there is United Blood Services Bloodmobile here. We're having a blood drive, and we really want to keep that thing full and going as long as we can today. So if you want to give blood, you can do that too.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
a nice little community event, and we hope to have some people out.
And to dunk Matt at the dunk tank, it is at $5?
I don't know if we're going to go for 10, and that money goes to Phoenix Children's Hospital, by the way. So any of the little raffle tickets we do for giveaways, for prizes, and there's a lot of free stuff too, but there's a few things that you got to get a ticket for, including dunking me or you, Dave, in the dunk tank.
I might take one for the team.
Yeah, and that money will go to Phoenix Children's Hospital, so hopefully we can scratch up a few bucks for that.
Well, it is. We are getting into the warm season. I think today it's going to be 97 degrees today.
Something like that.
So we got to start thinking about our cars, thinking about getting them ready for summer. There's the snowbird touristy season, and then in the auto repair industry, our season is May, June, July, and August. That's when we're busy, and that's when. But you don't want to go to the shop in July if you didn't take care of it in April or May. Your car's coming to our shop on a tow truck. And so it's a good time now to get that car in and get it checked out before we get blazing hot.
Yeah, you're right. Usually when you bring the shop in July, it's not by choice.
It's not by choice.
It's you have to. You're on the ambulance. So, I don't know. What are the things that, for summertime? Of course, April is National Car Care Month. So that's just, I don't know who decided that holiday. Somebody.
Hallmark did decide that.
Hallmark sells some more cards. But, nobody's getting my car a card for Car Care Month. So. Since they don't have a Hallmark card for Car Care Month, what you ought to do is find one of the bumper-to-bumper radio shops and go in and tell them you want that. I want the inspection of my car. I want my annual physical, or I want my annual checkup. And that's one way to avoid a breakdown. I mean, we can't possibly have a crystal ball and know everything. But
I haven't figured out how to use it, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, well, maybe if it was working, you'd know how to use it. I guess that's chicken or the egg thing, maybe, huh?
It is, but you can look and, there's some people that never break down. They haven't been in a broken down car because the car is maintained and serviced, and it's a proactive. There's proactive auto repair, and which is maintenance, and there's reactive auto repair, and we want to stay out of the reactive because it gets more expensive. And it's not convenient. It's never convenient to take your car to the shop. It is really not convenient to take your car to shop on a road spatula. Is that what you call those things?
Yeah. Well, those are the ones that pick up the accidents, Those are the ones that Kevin from I-17 Collision likes to see, the road spatula accidents.
Scrape that thing out.
Well, pulled up.
The things that come to mind is the cooling system. Nothing ruins a car quicker than overheating it. You could be facing let's just say you needed a water pump and some hoses and something like that. Maybe that's a $500 or $700 repair bill, but we don't take care of that, and the car overheats, and all of a sudden we've got a $2,000 or $2,500 repair bill. So we want to avoid the cooling system stuff. Also, get your air conditioning checked because, it's one of those things where you're rolling the window down, it's getting a little warmer. Get it fixed ahead of time. Don't wait till July when the shop is slammed.
Well, and now will be a good day. The car's interior today will be just as hot as most days in the middle of the summer, after it's sat outside for 2 hours in this afternoon sun. And then the other things, besides breaking down, you want to be safe. That's as much or more than anything. Tires, that's something that going to one of the bumper-to-bumper shops, or even Discount Tire for that matter, that's one of the things you can pull in, have a look at the tires, and just make sure they're safe. If you don't do anything before you hit the road, at least do that, because that's inconvenient and dangerous.
Well, you notice the safety thing. I mean, having a tire blowout is never good. It's never something you want to happen. But also, just being on the side of the road is dangerous. Nothing good happens on the side of the road. We've got that Gore Point violation, and it's like a $700 traffic. That's the point, where you merge in, and people cut across that thing. They made it a huge violation because people were broke down right there in that Gore Point, and they were getting hit.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be broke down on the Gore Point. You just want to avoid the side of the road. It's not a good place to be. So when we come back, we're taking phone calls at 602-277-5827. You can also text us at 411-923. We are out at the corner of 7th Street in Virginia celebrating 20 years for Virginia Auto Service. You can call, you can text, or you can just come on down and ask us, and we can look at a car right here to give you an example of what it is we're doing. There's a hot dog bounce house. We got some RC cars. Phoenix Fire
hot
Department.
dog bounce house?
Hot dog and bounce. Yeah, you,
Okay.
you can lose your lunch on the bounce house after you get your hot dog.
Right.
So come on down and see us, 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Ever wonder how the people that built those old castles kept the rain out? I don't think they did. But let's face it, your home is your castle, and you can protect it because you have Kaiko roofing on your side and on your roof. But don't wait for an emergency. Those other castles have been around for hundreds of years. If your roof is more than 10 years old, you really should have the trusted professionals at Kaiko give you a free roof checkup today. Flat, foam, tile, or shingles, Kaiko handles them all. From a small leak to a complete new roof, Kaiko has you covered. And when you invite Kaiko up on your roof for that free checkup, if you don't need anything done, they'll tell you. That's the kind of trust that results in half of Kaiko's business coming from referrals or repeat customers. Call 602-944-4600 or check KaikoRoofing.com for all the rest, including financing options. Kaiko Roofing, they're crazy about quality.
Listen up, baseball fans. If you're heading out to the ball game during spring training, be sure to hold on to your ticket stub. Arizona Biltmore Golf Club is offering spring training golf deals so sports fans can take advantage of all that Phoenix has to offer. Present your spring training ticket stub from the day prior when you check in and receive $5 off your round. Grab your clubs and head to the Biltmore for this home run deal. Visit azbiltmoregc.com to book your next round.
Fix it or forget it. This is the show that'll help you decide what to do with your car. Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and we are out today at Virginia Auto Service serving you lunch. We've got a bounce house, Phoenix Fire Department. We've got Phoenix Police Department. We've got the blood services and a dunk tank and RC cars and other fun stuff for the kids, giveaways, and we've got a live show and tell with the technicians from Virginia Auto Service. One thing I noticed about this shop, Matt, is this floor is so clean. I saw your daughter running through here barefoot, and at first I winced, and I looked at it and I said, that's probably cleaner than my kitchen floor.
It is pretty clean today. We did do a little, spend a few extra minutes cleaning up a little bit, and I just see one of the kids are in the dunk tank right now. But
they were hot.
They probably needed a bit of a bath. I saw, them running around barefoot too, and I wasn't quite sure if I was going to grab them and strangle them, or put their shoes on them, or exactly what. And we even have some people pulling in the parking lot that probably shouldn't be. So how about that?
Hey, it's drive-through up at the hot dog stand right there. So anyway, well, we've got open phones at 602-277-5827. 602-277-KTAR. And up first this segment, we are going to go with Joe with a 2002 Honda Odyssey. Hey, Joe, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. How can we help you today?
Yes. I have a maintenance required light starting to flash. And my oil, is not due to be changed. Air filter is like new. And I just wonder, I took it down and then had them put the little light on, or their little machine on there, and they didn't come up with anything. And I'm just wondering, what do you think it is? Do you think maybe it's time to flush my transmission? Or
yeah, Joe, you said maintenance required, and that's a light that never flashes. So I'm not sure if we're looking at a maintenance required light or if we're looking at maybe a check engine light, which in a Honda, I think sometimes this is the shape of an engine. A yellow shape of an engine?
Yeah, Joe, do you have a better idea if it did say service engine soon, or did it really say maintenance required?
It says maintenance required because it does have a check engine light, and it doesn't come on just when I turn the key on.
Well, that maintenance required light is not going, contrary to like a check engine light, the maintenance required light is just that. It's on for maintenance, and that's usually for a pre-prescribed mileage interval, a condition that's programmed into the mapping of the computer, not like a check, maybe a bad oxygen sensor or some other kind of emissions failure. That's going to turn on what you would see as the check engine light or service engine soon light. So, on that O2, I just don't know off the top of my head. There is a way to reset that light, and when the light, you say you don't need an oil change, but when we have the sticker up on the window, the car doesn't know we changed the oil unless we actually reset
the oil light,
the counter, if you will, for that maintenance required light. So I would first try and reset that.
Well, the other question he had was, do I need to service my transmission? Well, as far as that question goes, your transmission on that Odyssey, based off experience, should be serviced about every 30,000 miles. So I don't know how many miles are on your Odyssey, Joe, but transmission service on an Odyssey is not something you want to neglect because they do have, I would say, a little bit higher transmission failure than the average.
Okay, I was just wondering because I bought it used. I don't know if the guy serviced it or not. But that's the only thing that guy can figure that, I'll change the oil soon.
Yeah,
but
Joe,
I just want to get the transmission flushed too.
What part of town do you live in, Joe?
I live in Mesa.
Mesa. Well, thanks for the call. I mean, you brought up a lot of good topics. We appreciate you calling in, but maybe you want to go to Bumper Radio, find one of the shops, or especially with your transmission on that Odyssey. They're not. You just don't want to go do a flush on that. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the ones that we typically don't flush. So you're probably better off taking that to Tri-City Transmission, which is in Tempe and close by. Let them take a look at it and do the proper service and inspection of that transmission, because there's a lot more to it than just changing the fluid.
Thanks so much for the call, Joe. 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And I'm looking here, Matt, at the text. This gentleman has a 2009 Suburban, and within 3,000 miles it used 3 to 4 quarts of oil, and nothing is leaking, and it is still under extended warranty. Do you believe Chevy? So 2009 Chevy Suburban, 3,000 miles. 3 to 4 quarts. That's a ton of oil consumption. Something's wrong.
Well, it is, and there's a lot of, gosh, where's Kurt Rock? He would know exactly. He's wandering around here. There's those Chevy engines in that vintage, they burn oil, and Chevy would claim it's not a problem. They kind of recognize that it's a problem, and there's some fixes that can be done to them. There's some baffles that can be put in the oil pan to make sure the oil's not splashing, and they do have consumption issues. That is a lot of oil, though, and we're finding these cars. Now I guarantee it.
3 to 4 quarts and 3,000 miles.
It's a lot. It's too much. The fix on those, like I said, there's some baffles that can be put in the oil pan to restrict how the oil bounces around and how it splashes. But there's also, when you do that, you also have to clean the carbon from the engine. The oil rings and compression rings in there from that oil consumption get so carboned up that they don't allow them to seat, and it causes them to burn more and more oil.
Well, thanks for the text. You can text us at 411-923. Bree, do we have anyone lined up there on the phone?
We've got John in Phoenix with a 2005 Ford Taurus. 2005 Ford Taurus. How can we help you, John?
Yeah, I just heard you talking to the last guy on the carbon buildup. This kind of relates to that. It must be about 10 years ago. I had a police interceptor Crown Vic, and I had problems with missing and everything, and I had took it in for that Motovac car system where they run that injection cleaner like in the old days where you run cum out of it, and it just was fantastic. But I can't find anybody that's got that. Is that like too much old school? They don't have it anymore?
Nope. Today's your lucky day, sir, because that is what we use at my shop at Virginia Auto Service is the Motovac. And I'll tell you, that's a good question. Thanks for the call. And the fuel injection cleaning is not something that is a thing of the old days. That's something that still needs to be done on these cars, and even more so important now. But I can tell you, I don't know how many Mustangs, F-150s, Crown Victorias that have that police-type Interceptor V8 engine. we fix emissions problems on those cars just by using the motor vac machine. And the motor vac is doing a couple things. Yes, it's cleaning the fuel injectors. That's just kind of the generic term for, give me a Coke, I guess, right? Yes, we are cleaning the fuel injectors, but most importantly, we're using that cleaner, and we're using the fuel injectors as the method to deliver the cleaner to remove the carbon from the engine. And that's the big thing. That's where you have as much or more of your performance loss anywhere instead of just the injectors.
Well, there's all kinds of people talking about fuel injector cleanings and flushes, and some people say, they just want more money, they're flushing your wallet, that type of thing. But there is some legitimate services to fuel injectors, that can happen. I mean, can you speak to that at all?
Well, yeah, you always hear me say people go to the car wash and they get their fuel injection system cleaned, and the kid comes up that's worked on a couple cars. He just went to the training seminar, and that's what they sell at the car wash. It's at a $79 price point. It's really easy, and they're just I enjoy going and sitting at the car wash sometimes. And, they hey, do you want an air filter? Do you want a transmission service? Do you want this? There's no basis or anything for their recommendation, and you'll hear me say you're better off to donate your money to charity. You'll feel better about it and get more out of it, than you will out of the $79 special where they shoot a can of Cheese Whiz in. And we've got a guy here doing today from BG Products doing some demos and talking about that fuel injection cleaning and servicing that we do.
And you don't have to you can donate blood today.
Yes.
Down here at Virginia Auto Service. We're at 7th Street in Virginia. We're celebrating 20 years for Virginia Auto Service. It's been on this corner a long time, but Matt's been at the helm now for 20 years and took it over because it was boarded up at one time and been running it strong ever since. We've got the Phoenix Fire Department out there. You listen to Matt and Dave, Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions, for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at tricitytransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper to bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE Master Techs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Fall temperatures in Arizona are optimal for golf. Long after a chill descends on our friends in other parts of the country, conditions remain beautiful at the Arizona Biltmore Golf Club. And while other Valley golf clubs are closed for overseeding, Arizona Biltmore boasts two legendary courses, the Adobe and the Links. So there's no disruption to play, just luscious grass and rolling fairways located right in the heart of Phoenix. What are you waiting for? Visit azbiltmoregc.com to book a tee time today or find out more about their overseeding schedule and courses.
When you're searching for an automotive service relationship, quality and trust matters. Hi, Dave Denman here from Dave's Car Care, where we've been servicing our customers from the same location with the same ownership for over 32 years. We're on the northwest corner of 51st Avenue in Peoria. At Dave's Car Care, we strive to earn your trust every time you turn the key. With a friendly and courteous staff that has earned us a A+ rating from BBB, AAA approved auto repair, because we really do practice what we preach.
Few cities are as car-centric as Phoenix, and this is the show that'll help you to better understand that machine you depend on to get around the valley. It's Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and the KTAR app for Android and iPhone.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and together we are KTAR Car Guys. We've got Luther and Mike, and open lines at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. You can also text us at 411-923, or better yet, get in your car, come down to 7th Street in Virginia to Virginia Auto Service, where we've got a little celebration of 20 years in business going on. We've got a bounce house. We've got hot dogs. You can donate blood. We got the Phoenix Fire Department, City of Phoenix Police Department, and we've got prizes, giving things away. And we are taking your phone calls at 602-277-5827. And up first this segment, Matt, I'm going to go with Luther. Sounds like Luther has a Denali. Hey, Luther, what can we help you with on your Denali?
How are you?
Doing fantastic.
All right, so driving the vehicle, the application's a 2004 Denali with the 6-liter XL and about 130,000 miles on it. It blew a PO 332 code, which apparently indicates a knock sensor. And I guess my question is it unreasonable to assume that it's probably a couple $100 in labor since the knock sensor, I guess there's 2 of them, are located underneath the intake manifold versus the 5.7 that has it right on the outside of it? And would that sensor code basically say that, yes, one of the 2 sensors is indeed bad, or is there something else that could be wrong with that?
Well, thanks for the call, Luther. There could be, of course, there could be other things wrong with it. You know, when the code sets and when the light turns on, that's just telling you the area of concern. So you're going to have a sensor, and what that sensor is doing, that's just picking up noise from the engine. We test those at times. You can actually put a lab scope on the sensor or on the sensor, and take a ball peen hammer and just smack the car even on a tie rod end or part of the block of the engine, and we'll see a waveform develop out of there. So that could be that the sensor is not working at all. It could be that you have a detonation problem, and all the sensor's doing is saying, "Hey, man, there's detonation happening down here." So you don't want to go kill the messenger, so to speak. The oxygen sensor may not be the problem. You could have had a bad gas issue. You could have pinging or detonation caused by dirty fuel injectors or some other problem that's causing that. So that's the second part of the question. The answer to the second part of the question. The first part, is it a couple hours labor? And I think it's every bit of that. It's probably a little bit more. On that 6-liter engine, I believe it's like the 5.3 where you have to remove the intake manifold. There's no coolant or anything in that manifold. It's a dry manifold. And so you remove that manifold, and those sensors are underneath there. And it's not a horribly hard job to do if you know what you're doing.
Well, right.
I joke all the time, brain surgery is a piece of cake if you know how to do it.
Well, if there's 2 sensors, 2 knock sensors on that motor, you'd probably do them both while you're there.
Oh, yeah, I would.
Yeah.
And we see those. Tim is sitting here with us. Tim Nelson, the shop manager here at Virginia Auto Service. Thanks, Timmy.
Hey, you're welcome.
But
hi, guys.
You're going to speak up a little bit. It's a little noisier here. But didn't we see a lot of the knock sensors go bad? And this is one of those things where people take almost too good of care of their car, and we would see people with really clean engines and stuff. And what happens down in the valley of that V8 engine, oftentimes you'll have the water collect. And Tim, am I right? Didn't we used to see those from people that were steam cleaning the engine?
Yeah. You get the moisture down there, and then you get a connection issue.
At
the pigtail.
Yeah,
that's what we see a lot. Maybe the sensor itself may be okay, but you have the problem with the connection at the pigtail that goes to the sensor. So we don't want to, like you said, kill the messenger.
Right.
There's some investigation needs to be done.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes too much good stuff doesn't work so well.
And also, we look at these codes. People, they go in, and it's real common. Well, they'll go in into the auto parts store, and they'll plug into it, and they'll say, "Hey, this is the code. This is what it is," and therefore. But in order to really diagnose these things, that's our starting place. But we're going to look at what are the conditions for the computer to set that code. Did it see a voltage problem from that sensor, something shorted or opened? I mean, there's more to it than, let's go do that. How many O2 codes do you guys see that don't result in the replacement of an O2 sensor?
Oh, yeah, right? It's like Matt's always said, it's a footprint. And we got to start with that.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's just the starting point. You've got to test, but you don't start with that by replacing that. And you're right, Dave. Probably, Tim, you know more than I do because you're more involved on each and every job that we work on. But I would say, am I fair to say the overwhelming majority of cars that have an oxygen sensor code, the oxygen sensor itself is actually not the problem?
Quite a few times, yes.
Yeah.
For sure. 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. You can call us or you can stop on by at 7th Street in Virginia at Virginia Auto. And next up on the line, we've got Mike from Peoria, I believe, is with us, who's got a Camaro. Hey, Mike, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. How can we help you?
Hey, guys, thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I'm actually very fortunate. I've got a car that runs very well, very strong. I'd like to get a little bit more performance out of it is what I'm looking for. I've heard different stories about which way to go to gain that little bit of added performance. I looked into a catback system, but apparently on that year car, you actually have to go all the way to the manifold with the exhaust system.
What year's your Camaro?
It's a 2012.
2012, okay.
Okay, so
well, I guess what I'm getting at is if I add the exhaust system, do I also need to do something to the intake to make it breathe a little better? And then after doing all that, do I need to have the computer retuned?
Well, I mean, good question again. I mean, that I think the bumper-to-bumper radio shop that has those answers and does that is ADS. Greg down there. Yeah, down in Chandler, which you can find at bumpertobumperradio.com. But, Dave, yeah, I mean, if you can make it breathe easier, free up the exhaust, free up the intake, of course, that's going to be better. But the next step is the next step into programming. Then once you program, it's a never-ending deal.
It is a sliding scale. It never hurts to open up the exhaust. It sounds better. It's throatier. You're going to feel better about the car when you open up the exhaust. But then it changes something else. So that's where the tweaking and peaking in the computer comes, because now we've got an engine that breathes better. That's where the guys at ADS can get in there and say, hey, a little more of this, a little more of that. Tweak and peak it. Make that thing run like a scolded dog. And that's what we want to do.
They're very good at that, too. They're very good.
Excellent at doing, and they can prove it out on the dyno. So let's dyno it before we put the exhaust on and dyno it after, see what happened.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of fast cars, I know that Camaro, you might want to ring it out a little bit, but we have the Ron Capps Napa, I think this is a Dodge Charger funny car out here today. So if you want to see and then we've got the Chase Elliott Winston Cup, or they call it Winston Cup. I'm dating myself a little bit, but the Nextel Cup or Xfinity Series race car, both of those are Napa cars, and Napa's out here today helping us quite a bit. And again, we've got the blood drive going, and a lot of activity here. We're just south of Thomas. A lot of people know where Virginia is.
That's true. That's a good point. Where the heck is Virginia, right?
Back east, right?
South of Thomas. 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And I've got a text here from a gentleman that wants to buy a computer, an engine control unit for his Honda Accord. And he says, is there anything I should know before buying this thing on eBay? And he was asking, do I need to know year, make, mileage, motor, all that stuff? If you're going to change computers and you're going to buy it off of eBay, get the number right off of that computer. So remove the computer, see what the actual part number, there's going to be all sorts of number on the computer. Get all that information. And then that's what you want to get a replacement for.
And it sounds like he's doing it because he's having the transmission rebuilt. Maybe that's required. I mean, I don't know if you're trying to fix a problem with that. I don't know about eBay. You own the thing. There's plenty of local salvage yards, Right Way Auto Parts, Alma Imports, where you could probably find one of those.
And depending on the make and the model, it may not need a replacement. It might just need an update, a reflash.
Yeah, this is a 99, so that would be
old computer.
Yeah, it's an older one. And so I don't know. If that computer is bad and actually caused a transmission failure, then it needs to be replaced. But if you're replacing the transmission and they're telling you to replace the computer, getting a used one is really just simply installing your old one.
Same problem.
Yeah, I think that needs a little bit more investigation. I'm not clear.
You can give me a buzz at Tri-City Transmission, and I'll help walk you through that as far as getting what you need and steering you in the right direction. 602-277-5827. Hey, Bree, do we got anyone on the line?
Yes, we do. We've got our lines lit up. Let's start with Sam or Mike in Phoenix and Gilbert.
It's your call. Go for it, Bree.
All righty. We'll go ahead and start with Sam in Gilbert. He's been waiting for a while.
Hey, Sam, you're on Bumper to Bumper. How can we help you?
All right. How's it going, guys? Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I am having a little issue with a truck I just purchased. It drove perfect and fine, and now I'm starting to find all kinds of little problems. But the problem that I want to bring to you guys today is when I first started up in the morning, It turns on nice and fine and everything, but after a while, the engine starts to idle really rough, and it's almost like the car is trying to shut off. And I'm just trying to figure out what. Maybe you guys can give me advice onto what exactly the problem is.
Hey, Sam, real quick, what kind of vehicle is that again?
It's a 2003 Dodge Ram 1500.
2003 1500. Well, I'm thinking, Matt, when that thing starts up in the morning, it's got the kind of the high idle, so we're throwing a lot more, throwing a lot more fuel at it. The idle's up higher, so we're not going to really pick up on the fact the engine's missing a little bit. But once it warms up and it pulls it out of cold mode, we're going to start to see the misfire show up. So I'm thinking it's not quite running right. It's going to need something along those lines. I just think that the cold start thing is masking the problem. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah, I definitely think something with some type of sensor problem issue once it gets warmed up.
Hey, Sam,
is there a check engine light on, Sam?
Engine
Sam
light?
may not be. Oh,
it did stall once, but there is no check engine light.
Now that's the other question. If this is stalling and there's no check engine light, the next question is, since you said you just bought it, if you just simply turn the key on before you start the car, is there a check engine light then?
No.
No. Okay. This is a prime.
There's the regular lights that are supposed to be there, according to the manual. But
okay. Well, I think this is. You probably need to at least get into a shop, and it may be one of those deals where the auto parts store will at least check the code for you. But the first thing in this repair, it sounds to me like you need to make sure that you actually have a check engine light that works.
Okay.
You need to turn the key on. When you just turn the key on, it doesn't matter if it's the first start of the day or the 15th start of the day. You need to. There should always be a check engine light on it, and I think we can come back to that, Dave, after take a quick break here. So thank you for the call. And again, we're out here at Virginia Auto Service, my shop, and 7th Street in Virginia, which is just south of Thomas. We'll be here all afternoon. Napa's got some race cars here. There is a free lunch, no doubt about that. The shop is open up with cars in various states of repair with technicians standing by that can answer your questions. So come see us, see Dave and I, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at tricitytransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper-to-bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE Master Techs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Few cities are as car-centric as Phoenix, and this is the show that'll help you to better understand that machine you depend on to get around the valley. It's Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and the KTAR app for Android and iPhone.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and together we are your KTAR car guys, heard here every Saturday from 11 to noon. And we've got on the line, we've got Mark, Mike, and Mary. And if you don't get a chance to give us a call today, you can stop by in person. We're out at Virginia Auto Service. Lunch is on us. And if you want to hit the bounce house, there's no age limit. I was out there. They let me bounce on it. We've got the Phoenix Fire Department, Phoenix Police Department. We've also got, you can donate blood and a dunk tank. And I'm going to be in that dunk tank because I'm getting kind of hot.
Well, I just saw Corey, one of my technicians, throw a fastball right at the dunk tank and put some little kid in there. I think it was one of my daughters, actually, in the dunk tank. So, yes, we'll be here all afternoon.
Ask us in person, show and tell. We've got an engine down here that's been cut in half just so you can see what's in the middle of it, which is really cool. But we got to get to the phones. Up first this segment, we've got Mark from Whitman. Mark, how can we help you?
Yeah, I got a code coming up, and it's lien in Bank 1.
What kind of car do you got?
A 171.
On what kind of car? What kind of engine?
F-150, 2000.
2000 F-150 with a lean code.
Is that a 5.4 liter?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the most common problems we see on those is the crankcase ventilation, the PCV valve or PCV tube, which is going to be a tube that goes maybe from one of the valve covers. And on that one, there's a couple rubber elbows on it maybe, and then a long plastic tube that runs around the back side of the intake manifold. So to find that... I'm sorry?
It's a boot that goes on the back of the manifold.
Yeah, kind of. There's a boot, and it's attached to a rigid plastic hose or tubing. So what you want to do on that, if you're going to try and tackle this one yourself, is just start the engine. Always be careful under the hood with things rotating and such, and be listening for a little vacuum noise, a suction noise. Yeah,
how'd I do?
You're good at that, Dave. And I could go a couple ways.
Yes, it
there.
sure could.
And the other thing you can do is sometimes to affect that, if you think you hear it, maybe grab a hold of some of those tubes and lines and give them a bit of a wiggle or a shake, and you can affect that noise. And if you hear a change in that tone,
that's where your problem is.
You're getting close. Yes.
So thanks so much for the call, Mark. We are going to go with Mike in Phoenix. Hey, Mike, go ahead. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. What can we help you with?
I need some advice, guys. I've got a transmission issue. I went to one of the national chains and had the transmission replaced a year ago, January 31st. I noticed towards the end of the year it started doing the same thing again, hesitating a little bit, hard shifts. I take it back there, and they said that, well, you're really low on transmission fluid because there was a leak. They said my pan was leaking. They fixed it. Kept leaking. I brought it back 3 different times. They still can't fix the leak. The last time I was there, they said they replaced the front axle because it wasn't syncing up or whatever. And that was last Friday, and it's still leaking. I mean, I don't want to. I don't know
what kind of vehicle do you have?
It's an 02 Buick Century.
2002 Buick Century. What engine is in your Buick?
It's a V6.
There's a 3.8 liter and there's a 3.1 liter.
It's probably 3.1.
Okay, the 3.1, so that should be a 4T40 would be the transmission model that's in there. And does it have a dipstick? Are you able to check the fluid under the hood? Because I don't think a 4T40 does.
I'm not even sure. Actually, it does. Yeah, I can test it. I can check it.
Okay, all right, it may be the bigger motor.
Okay.
But anyway, so you've got a problem with an ongoing leak, but then you said you've also got a problem with hard shifts. We got two things going on?
Yeah, well, the hard shift only happened because it was really, I didn't know it was low on transmission fluid because I didn't notice the leak. Once they refilled the transmission fluid, it's been fine, no shift problems. It's just, I've been back there 5 times and they can't fix the darn leak. I mean, I don't know what else to do except keep complaining, but I'm kind of tired of going back there. I realize if I take it someplace else, then it's going to be out of pocket, but what are my remedies with the shop that can't fix a leak?
Well, I think 5 times is certainly a good enough try to let them fix the leak. I mean, there's a couple ways. I mean, can you get the attention of the owner, because those are franchises. A lot of times there's an owner of the franchise.
Yeah, the last time I did speak with the owner, that's when last week they had it for an extra day and they replaced the front axle, and they said that was it and we were good to go, and I had it for about a week, and I noticed just yesterday it's still got little drips of red transmission fluid in the garage still.
Okay, it sounds like we're struggling with an ongoing axle seal leak, and those are problematic on that transmission if somebody doesn't know what they're doing, because it's kind of a dual sleeve thing. It's a little different than your regular deal. But as far as resolution, you can file a complaint at the Better Business Bureau. That's one way to do it. You can obviously go, at this time, if you got 5 receipts for going in, you still have the same problem, you can go to another shop and get it fixed. And then you're going to have a different opinion on it because they got nothing in the game.
Right.
And then you could go back and say, or go to the BBB and say, hey, here's what I had to do. I went back 5 times. They couldn't get it right, and I did finally get it fixed. You can go that route. Matt, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, same thing. Thanks for the call, Mike, by the way. It seems to me that the shop has given ample opportunity to correct the problem. And Dave, it happens to me, it happens to you, it happens to every shop. Once in a while, something is going to go wrong. There's just no doubt about it. But if they're not communicating with you well, and you've done everything you can do to get this car fixed right, and they've given all the opportunities, you're right. Just go somewhere else, get it fixed, and then you're going to have to decide if it's worth the battle or maybe just consider it money spent and move on. It's just really hard to say.
Yeah,
So,
custom learning lesson.
yeah.
Hey, we're going to sneak in Marie real quick if we got time here. Marie, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. How can we help you pretty quickly?
I wish you the best today. Listen, I have a 2003 Honda, and I took it in for an oil change, but the mechanic found that shock struts, they need attention because there is a leak. My question to you is, what kind of specific question should I ask? Because the recommendations are, I noticed, power steering rack and pinion, and then front struts.
Mm-hmm. What kind of shop did you take that to? Don't tell me the name, but just what? Did you take it to a dealer or a local chain or what kind of facility? Dealership. Okay. And how many miles are in your Honda? Roughly.
Me see. Yes, about 77,000.
77,000 miles. Tim, if that car, we've got to do this real quick, but if that car was at Virginia Auto Service, 77,000 miles, we said it had leaking struts. Now, by the way, you're not going to see struts leaking on the ground. They'll typically never drip.
That's
so that won't be something you.
Yeah.
And a leaking rack and pinion steering. I think I'm going for clean the system and watch it the next oil change. What do you
Correct.
think,
Yeah,
Tim?
just clean it off and monitor it. And
Clean
check the tire.
Clean the system?
Yes. Well, not a system clean as in a power steering flush. I would ask them, or maybe you go to another shop. We give free second opinions at Virginia Auto Service. Don't know where you're located, but maybe try one of the, if you're not close to me, try one of the bumper-to-bumper shops and go get a second opinion. Take your paperwork from the dealer. Say, here's what they told me. I'd like you to tell me your opinion. 77,000 miles, Tim or Dave, that's borderline on the shocks. On a Honda, I think that's a little early. I would expect you to feel that the car doesn't ride real well. Maybe the tires are wearing before you need struts. And that's one of those things, too, honestly. You don't necessarily notice those wear out yourself. So,
and one quick thing, it's not a breakdown issue.
Yeah.
So, you can take your time in a sense to have it fully inspected.
Yeah.
For sure.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks, Bree and Tom, for putting together this radio remote. If you're looking for a friendly, honest, competent shop like Virginia Auto Service, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. While you're there, join our Facebook family. Remember never to text and drive, and come see us at 7th Street, Virginia.
It sounds like they've just had the accurate automotive experience. We're family owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherby, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive, the home of friends serving friends.
Join us for everything automotive on Bumper to Bumper Radio with Dave Riccio and Matt Allen, the KTAR Car Guys, every Saturday, 11 to noon on KTAR News 92.3 FM. Winter is finally here. Is your car ready? Whether it's snow up north, rain in the valley, or 75 degrees, Dave and Matt got you covered. And remember, 24/7, there's bumpertobumperradio.com. It's a must for the best.
With Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions, for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at tricitytransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.